You tuning in to Bogans Breakdown.
Bam. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Episode 6, Episode 6, Bogans Breakdowns. Back with the one and only 14-year NBA veteran, Mr. Keith Bogans. Mr. Keith, we're talking Big Three today. How you feeling about that?
Oh, man. A lot of fun. I actually got the chance to go down to Tampa, check the guys out. I actually played in the Big Three, a couple games when it first started. So I'm always going to support and be a fan of what Ice Cube is doing with the former players and retired. And now it's even gotten bigger to guys from all over playing. So it's growing.
Yeah, it's quite the spectacle that it's become. It kind of almost started like a joke almost to a degree. I remember when I first heard about the Big Three, I think a lot of people kind of discredited Ice Cube for the vision, but he stuck with it and he's really made it a thing.
I think anytime you step out of the box and do something that's big, with an idea, what he came up with, I think you're always going to get some negative, you can't do it, or you're going to be looked at crazy. But he had a vision, he stuck to it, and when I tell you these guys are out there having fun and you can see it, it's almost still playing in the NBA. They get treated right. They travel. They get to go from city to city. And when I see these guys, when I go to support, I can tell they're having a good time and having fun.
Yeah, he takes care of the players.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a league that I think even some guys, it's hard to get in because you got to, get picked or get drafted. But I think it's definitely a league a lot of guys want to play in because they're having fun, so much fun.
So the league was founded on January 11th, 2017. And first thing I noticed right off the bat with the date, it starts with 3 1s, which are it's like a big three right there.
It's like
right?
a big
so
three.
I think Ice Cube put a little bit of thought into when he announced the start of it right there.
I think he definitely put thought into when he would come out and announce that league. But I think you asked me earlier, what made him come up with the Big Three.
Yeah, what was his driving force on creating it?
A story that I heard, I didn't hear this directly from his mouth, but it was after Kobe's last game and he scored all those points. I think he said in his brain, like, damn, there's still basketball left in a lot of these guys that's retired, that's not playing in the NBA. And you can still see that when you go see these guys play. You still got Joe Johnson, Jordan Crawford, Gerald Green. I can just go on and keep naming guys. Reggie Evans, these guys are still playing at a high level, and they still make the game fun to watch.
Kobe Bryant, in his last game, do you remember how many points it was?
Six. How much was it?
60 on the dot.
60.
Yeah.
60 on the dot. Yeah, so I think him watching that game like we all did, in that final game, we all knew Kobe still had more gas left in the tank, and I think that motivated him just to go out and put that thought that came together in his head, and he came up with the Big Three, and it's successful.
Yeah, even at that point, Kobe, he passed away at 41, and that was in 2020. So 4 years earlier, he was 37 when he retired. So a lot of juice still.
A lot of juice still left in the tank. Like I said, a lot of guys, when you see these guys play, just because you haven't seen them on the floor in the NBA, these guys still can play at a high level. So
a couple things about the Big Three is that they have a half-court setup.
Oh, half-court. I think at this age you got to have. And, I got an opportunity to play. And the half-court setup, it doesn't take such a toll on your body. You need to run up and down at this age. Some of us got, we got old aches and ailments. That half court, it's still tough and physical. It's one of the most, like playing in the Big Three, it was more physical than the NBA. Because they let guys foul, grab, hack. You have to be in shape. It's no league for the soft. You got to be ready to play.
And you got to cover more ground because there's less people on the court.
Less people. The court is more spread out. And you definitely got, and these guys that can play one-on-one, if you can't defend, they're going to expose you because it's a lot of room to operate with 3-on-3 basketball.
So I'm not the smartest basketball guy, but what does 3-on-3 benefit more offensive player or a defensive player?
Well,
does it wash out?
It depends. I think it depends. Like, we all focus on the offensive, especially if we're playing 2-on-2 or 3-on-3. But if you're a great offensive player and nobody can guard you in a one-on-one setting, and you have a guy that can shoot or two guys that can shoot and one good one-on-one player, I mean, it's tough because somebody's going to have to help the guy that can't be guarding, and if you got a shooter, I mean, it's too much ground to cover. So it's a game that you have to have the guys that can do both, play defense and score the basketball.
Now, who were some of the big names that played that went with Big Three?
Oh man, you still got like I said, you got Joe Johnson. You still got Jordan Crawford. I had that. It's crazy. I had I can say I were teammates of both of those guys, and they like two of the top scorers. And I've seen those guys this weekend. When I tell you these guys can still score the basketball, you got the Pargo brothers, Jeremy Pargo and his big brother. You got the Teague twins, Jeff Teague and the little brother, the little Teague. I mean, so many guys that played in the NBA that are playing and still playing at a high level in the Big Three.
In some of the big names, early on you had Allen Iverson. Did he ever end up playing that much?
I'm not sure. I wasn't there for the first season when they was there, but I don't know if he played. I'm not sure. I'll have to do my research on that one.
Allen Iverson was a big name. Gary Payton, who you saw.
Right.
Did Gary play at all in Big Three?
No, I think GP's just been coaching the whole time.
It says player coach, so it would be
well, I
interesting
think
to see.
player/coach is just the label they had at the beginning, but I don't think he played. I think he's still cussing. He's cussing everybody out on the bench. It's still fun to watch. Anytime GP is coaching, I want to sit right behind the bench so I can hear what he has to say to his team. So it's always fun to sit and listen to GP.
Yeah. Now, that's kind of like the super cool part to me about the Big Three is it's almost like, in a way, it's kind of like an all-star league to a degree.
We would call it like a brotherhood because every weekend you got to see your boys again, and we got to do what we love to do. So it's 10 weeks. Every weekend it's a different city picked, and we all fly in. And you have to have like a little mini practice, and then we all go out to eat. And then usually somebody's from the city that we're playing in, they'll have an event, a party, and it's like a camaraderie. We all play together as kids. We all old and retired now, and to see your boys every weekend and just get to hang out, get to play basketball,
go to a different city.
The fans still show up. I mean, even I don't play and I show up to the arena, the fan love that I get, and it's from the Big Three. Like the fans coming to support. Like I went to Tampa this weekend, and to walk through the arena and see the fan love. I mean, he's putting people, and he's packed. It was packed. The whole arena was packed. I've never seen the Big Three packed like that, but it was in Tampa. I mean, they almost filled up every seat.
Wow. And it's an interesting layout. So you have all the teams play on that one weekend, right?
Yep.
So you have 8 teams, I think.
I think it's 8 teams. Either 6 or 8 teams.
4 games in a show.
They may start at 1:00. Yeah, and you got 4 games, and they just run in one ends. You got a little break in between, and you get to see 4 games right there. I mean, it's a lot of fun. You get to see some of your favorite players, and you get to see 4 different games.
So what is the mentality from a competitor standpoint in the Big Three versus the NBA? And the reason why I say is because I'm trying to think of the locker room, right? So in the NBA, obviously, you're not commingled with the other teams or whatnot, right?
Right.
Do you guys have separate locker rooms?
Oh, definitely. Everything is separate.
Three?
I mean, it's competitive. I mean, all of us that used to play, no matter what, when you step on that floor, it's competitive.
So they have 8 different locker rooms?
No, once one team finishes and uses, we use.
So it's like rotate.
Yeah, rotate
so
locker
teams
rooms.
Will come in.
And once your team plays, you go back, you get your stuff, but they'll probably use 2 other locker rooms while that team is getting out. And then,
got it.
So they got locker rooms, multiple locker rooms to use. So we don't all just go into one locker room and everybody's there.
You guys share catering, though?
No, yeah, share catering.
Share catering is commingle.
Yeah, commingle with the food, all that. I still remember. It was a while ago, but I'm pretty sure they still do it the same way from when I played.
But that's way different from still a little bit, in the NBA. You're not sharing catering with the other team.
Oh, no. The
NBA,
other team
right?
caters for you. But here, I mean, it's just everybody's in. It's like one big team.
So the home team caters for the away team?
In the NBA, yes. The home team caters. It's usually
Who pays?
the home team.
They pay too.
I guess so. Yeah, I
I
mean,
guess it
you're
all works.
hosting. If you're hosting, I mean, you got
I
a
guess it
team
makes
coming.
sense.
You want to get treated right when you go back to there. So, like,
It all evens out.
it all evens out. I mean, some of these teams, I mean, they host you good. They treat you well when you come in. It's vice versa. They want to get treated well when they come.
We kind of talked about this, but would you say Dallas treats you the best?
Ultimately, I mean,
that's the
I
best, right?
still can remember Dallas has this good barbecue place that I like, and they cater it there. So usually barbecue after the games in Dallas.
Now, where would you rank Ice Cube compared to the teams that you've played in the NBA as far as taking care of the players?
Oh, all the players love him. I mean, think it's Ice Cube. I mean, he's running the league. I mean, he traveled, you stay at nice hotels, and the setup when you get to the arena.
So all the players stay at the same hotel?
All the players stay at the player
Big Three
hotel. Yeah, they all stay at the same hotel. And like I said, it's a brotherhood. You walk downstairs to the bar, everybody's down there talking, having a good time. And it's like a family. He got the setup is the way it should be.
And it's interesting to see now how he's expanding. It's very similar setup to the XFL and the UFL now that The Rock and those guys are running.
Right.
Where, you have basically, you've always had the league own all the teams and then, operating from an economic standpoint, what a great business model because you're getting 4 games in one ticket.
Yep.
So you're keeping your costs down because you're not renting 4 venues out for 4 different games.
Right.
So it's a really effective, and it's almost like the Harlem Globetrotters in terms of like it's a spectacle.
Right.
It's almost like the circus. It's like WWE of basketball, and that's kind of what I was saying talking about Gary Payton, right? Because just for theatrics, imagine Gary Payton just coming out to take 1 3.
That's it.
Just one. You know what I mean? He's not playing.
Yeah. Mike Bibby shooting because he's the all-time 4-point. He made the most 4-pointers in the league. So, like, a thing for a fan was to come out and shoot 4-pointers with Mike Bibby. So, I mean, it's a lot of fun. They having fun. They making the most of it. I can see what he's doing, and it's only going to go up. It's only going to go up.
Yeah. Now, do you think he could ever make it to a point? And I'm going to use another wrestling analogy here for a second, right? So you might remember back in the day, there were 2 big wrestling companies. There's the WWF and there's WCW, right?
Right.
Actually, all the NBA players, they used to mess with WCW. Karl Malone used to be in WCW, Dennis Rodman, right? The biggest show in town was always the WWF, but those guys had to work. The travel schedule was they're on the road 300 plus days a year, right? So then this other company comes around that Ted Turner owns, and he's got all the money in the world. So he's like, well, I can get these big wrestling stars, he would call them, right? I can pay them more money, and I could give them an easier schedule. They don't have to work 300 days now. I'll give them the same money, and they work 150.
Wow.
So now those wrestlers are like Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, Randy Savage, all these guys who are older guys, their body's starting to wear down, and they're like,
let's do this.
300 days doesn't work for me, brother. I could do more money over here for half the days.
Let's go.
People just thinking about their families. Like, I'm going to go do that instead, right? So the question is, can the big 3 ever become that alternative to the NBA where somebody would be like, man,
I mean, it's growing. I mean, it's just going to be interesting to see now. Teams are starting to be sold. We just talked about that.
So that's going to bring in more capital.
Yeah, bring in more. So
paid.
Just think if teams keep being sold, then it's only going to get bigger and bigger. So we'll see what happens. But I think he's going to sell big cities first. So he just did L.A. and Miami.
Yeah.
And then we're going to see what's next. I think we'll have another big city coming into play.
So it's so funny because we were sitting here when we first started the podcast.
Yep.
We saw the LA franchise get sold, right?
And you asked me, what about here in Miami?
I just, now that I have $10 million lying around, right? But I just threw it out. I said, man, and you made a phone call.
Made a phone call. The guy said, Q was selling the teams, I think for $10 million. And you said, all right, I'll take that information. And, I think, was it a week, 2 weeks later?
Miami sold.
Miami sold.
Yeah, that was the
Somebody
second
bought,
team.
Yeah, second team. Bought.
And that's where it's going to be a game changer because, okay, so right now you can't really have a competitive marketplace for players when the league owns it all, right? Because Cube's got costs that he has to manage, right? So, but when he can kind of hand those off to individual franchise owners,
now it grows.
Now Miami owner has to compete with the LA owner for talent for the same pool of players,
right?
And I can outspend you or I can't, right? This is how people get paid.
Exactly.
And this is exactly what happened with wrestling. WCW, they went out of business years ago, right? Kind of because of some of the problems that came from catering too much to the too talent-friendly contracts, right? Okay. And then you kind of collapse under too many of those. But everything, what's new is old again, right? Or what's old is new again, right?
Right.
Another company comes around by another billionaire called AEW, and now they started doing the same thing.
Same thing. Less
dates, more dollars, and now it's created again this competition. Before this happened, though, WWE was stale. They ratings were low, attendance was low. Boom. But then this competitor comes, starts like taking some of their people away, and they're like, now the product gets hot because it forces them. Competition rises everybody up.
Exactly.
But most importantly, the wrestlers in the industry are all making more money now.
Everybody, yeah.
Because it's not just one place you could go, right? Just like before Big Three, I couldn't tell you would go to Europe, right? Like that's where else? Is there a Canadian basketball league that people would go to?
It is, but a lot of guys, I mean, you're
going to go to Europe. You'll make more money there than Canada.
Way more, yeah.
So that was really the option. Now you have a U.S. alternative.
To stay right here, travel with your family, see your boys every weekend. I think once these teams are sold, I think it's only going to grow and get bigger.
Then it's a different
game. A different ball game. Now you got to think about how much these guys can get paid.
That's the question, right? Is that can you see a situation when then the teams in the Big Three get younger,
right?
Because maybe they're competing with the players in the draft that they want to sign over on into Big Three instead of NBA. Now, granted, the best ones are going to go to the NBA,
right? But I mean, it's a different game. Do you want to play 3-on-3 or do you want to play 5-on-5?
Well,
and you got to think about that now.
Half the court.
Yeah, you can play longer. I'll tell you that much. You ain't got to put as many miles on your legs. That's one of my favorite things about the Big Three.
And not for nothing, didn't Ice Cube throw an offer out at Caitlin Clark?
I think he did.
What was that? Like
I don't know. Yeah, he offered her a big number.
It was a big number, right?
It's a big number, but I heard some guys talk about this. I mean, Caitlin Clark, she's a great basketball player. Take nothing away from her, but she gets matched up against a Reggie Evans in the post. Or I mean, to see how physical that game is. I mean, I was trying to figure out how that was going to work.
He offered her $5 million.
Oh, wow. $5 million, that's a lot. To play the whole season, 10 games.
I mean, do you make that back in ticket sales? I mean,
hey, that would have been interesting to see. I mean, I don't know.
It would have been a spectacle. I mean, it would have been an attraction.
Absolutely would have been an attraction. But it would have been tough with as physical as that game is. I think, we talking about WWE, it's a little WWE mixed in is how physical that game is. It's super, super physical.
Well, it's he's doing a great job with it, and they continue to go. They're started in 2017.
Right.
Here they are going strong. 2024. They got good TV deals. They're filling big arenas as well. What do you think is next for the Big Three?
Like I said, the teams will start being sold, and I think slowly but surely they're just going to get bigger and bigger. I mean, it's getting. I mean, the viewers to walk in last week and to see, the fans and how packed the arena was, I can tell it's growing because it's bigger than when I played years ago. So.
Well, we didn't even talk too much about your experience in Tampa, so.
Right.
What were some highlights
it's fun.
There?
I make a phone call because I know who to call. I used to play in the Big Three, and So I actually had to call and get a media pass because I told him I got the podcast, wanted to get some content. So I actually I got in as a media.
Oh, so you're a member of the media now?
Yes, I'm a member of the media.
Right.
So I got a chance to sit up close. But like I said, it was fun just to walk through the arena to see the guys. I mean, they got a whole setup down there. It's just like going into an NBA game. I mean, you got the locker rooms, media room, equipment room. Guys getting taped in the training room. I mean, it's no different than me going into an NBA arena the way they had it set up.
How's your halftime entertainment?
Well, usually they have someone performing like an entertainer, some type of, whether it be, R&B singer, hip hop, who doesn't want to come perform? And he usually has a hometown person usually come perform in the town that he's in, or he'll perform, but he's always got somebody. I mean, it's Ice Cube.
There's no home field advantage in Big Three.
Not unless you're from that town and you get to play. Like Reggie Evans, one of my old teammates, I always laugh because he's one of the most physical guys that I've ever played with, and he still plays. And that was his hometown. So, I mean, he had home court advantage this week.
He had a good relate.
Yeah, he had a good. Yeah, I think Three's Company lost. That's the team I used to play for, but he had the home court advantage because he lives in Tampa, and the games were in Tampa this weekend.
Tampa got week 2. Do you know where they're heading to next week?
I think week 3 is Baltimore, back up near my hometown. I won't be able to make that, but I got to check the schedule, and whenever they're close enough for me to get to them, it's something I'm definitely going to support any chance I get, because it's always fun times, and it's a brotherhood reunion, and I look forward to it.
Yeah, they got, looks like they have Baltimore.
Yep.
And they're up to 6 games now. It looks like 12 teams.
12 teams, sorry,
12
not 8.
teams
12
6
teams.
6 games.
6 games.
Going to your old stomping grounds, Newark.
Yep.
Back to the West Coast. So it's a great concept. And another interesting thing, they don't give you the full schedule.
No, they'll figure it out as they get, and then I guess they pick where the championship game is, usually somewhere nice. Nice weather, beaches, I don't know. It's always somewhere nice for the championship game.
What's the prize for the winning team?
I don't know. I know it's a nice prize.
It is a prize,
It is
right?
a nice prize.
Cash?
Probably most likely cash and bragging rights. So 2 things go well together.
Yeah. All right, so Big 3, check it out if you haven't checked it out yet. I think they really are on to something big and special there. Ice Cube's doing a great job.
Great job. Since he started, like I said, it's grown. It's getting bigger every year. And he has guys in that league that can still play. So the fans are always going to have fun going out to watch.
And we're making this call right now. When they sell all the franchises, that's when Big 3 is going to start popping off.
Absolutely.
Because if you're spending $10 million on a franchise just to acquire that franchise, right, you're going to probably spend $100 million at least in operating that franchise.
Absolutely.
So
it's going to be, you have to spend some money, and we're going to see. That's when this thing is probably going to grow. Like you said, it's going to take off.
I'm telling you, in 8 years, 2017.
Yep.
So we're in 2024, 7 years.
7 years.
In 7 years, he's grown it pretty well. He's selling those franchises now. And I'm telling you, my prediction is that it leads eventually to a bidding war. Because if he's going to throw out $5 million, he's just probably as a joke. He knew he wasn't going to sign Caitlin Clark, right?
Yeah, it was a great publicity stunt.
Worked for publicity.
It worked. I would have did it.
But he throws the $5 million out. Wait until these franchisees get in there,
right?
And those are going to be real offers going. So, all right, well, that's going to do it on this episode 6 here. That's like a whole week's worth of episodes there. All right, we got some Big 3. What are we going to talk about next?
I think we're going to talk about the WNBA.
Some WNBA?
I got to talk about the ladies and see.
You know some folks over in the WNBA?
I might know a few.
So we got the WNBA episode coming up next. Then we, and also the draft. We got to cover the draft. NBA draft happening tonight. The big question is where's little Bron going to go?
I got to check for my Kentucky guys, too. So
the Kentucky guys. Not to be confused with the Villanova guys.
Absolutely not.
No, even though their colors are close, and their names are the same. But all right, don't forget, like, follow, share the video, YouTube, send it to all your friends. Let them know Keith Bogans has a podcast now. We're looking for you on X. If you say Keith Bogans' name, I'm going to track you down. So better be something nice. Like, wow, I really miss Keith Bogans.
Right,
you know? Follow us all over socials, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, IG, that is Instagram, X. Subscribe on YouTube, like we said. Bogansbreakdown.com. Stay tuned. We're gonna have some new, some news coming up soon on some coaching services and some different things that we're doing.
Absolutely
out there. So
Absolutely.
Stay tuned. Looking forward to that. And that's it. Keith, you got anything else?
Nope. Thanks for being with us, and stay tuned. We got more content coming.
Bam. Peace.